Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Pomacher. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, go on down and hit subscribe for us. You can come back over and over again, see some fantastic authors, artists, filmmakers, musicians, creators of all kind. And we are here tonight in the studio via Skype, and we're hanging with 30-year legendary rock band Great Whites, lead guitarist and organizer and just chief cook and bottle washer, Mark Kendall. Mark, thanks for hanging with us, man.
Thanks for having me today.
Oh, man, it's so great to have you online. The World Wide Web, I know you all already know this. If you haven't gone over to the YouTube channel and checked it out, for in the past 3 decades, Mark and Great White have 2 platinum albums, if I'm not mistaken, 6 Billboard Top 100s, 10 million albums sold, 19 original albums, and countless compilation albums. Man, you guys are as busy as can be, and you have your next album coming out Friday, June 2nd.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, how are you not like exhausted?
Well, you know, I try to keep in good shape and everything. Actually, making new music is what gives us the energy.
Absolutely.
Because that's what keeps you excited. It's like, you know, painters making new art, you know?
Absolutely.
You know.
Well, now, y'all had your well, I know you're performing before this. You had your first big hit in 1984. I only know that because when I heard that you guys were coming on the show, I was ecstatic. That's my generation. I was like, yeah. So, when did you know you were going to be a professional musician? When did you know this is my calling?
Well, I've always wanted to be a professional musician since I was a pretty young boy. I think maybe 9 years old. I loved it. I loved the music. My parents had a lot of music going in the house, and I just loved the melody and the music. And then I saw a band play, a neighbor band, and I saw that through the side of a garage. And I told my dad to get me a guitar, please, please, and kind of never put it down, you know.
Now,
I mean, I did other things, but that was
now, when we were doing our research, going back to when you were 9 years old, I understand that one of your first performances was playing in the 4th grade.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Yeah, that was my first time I played in front of people. We only had 4 songs together, but yeah, that was the first show, if you will. yeah,
I was going to say the very first show. Now, we had a little bit. Now, we were back and forth online with Melissa, with your PR rep, and we were told there might be an interesting story in here about your first guitar. Do you still have that guitar?
I don't have my first guitar because, you know, obviously, when I was very young, being a star or, you know, having any kind of success at all was not even a, you know, consideration. I just loved it. I loved the guitar. But my first guitar was kind of a small, downsized acoustic guitar. It was called the K-A-Y. And it had steel strings on it, very difficult to play. It was just a very crummy kind of Spanish guitar, you know. And then my first actual guitar that my dad got me for Christmas was also a K, but it was electric. And it had a little amp. That's what I played for the 5th graders in my 4th grade class.
Wow.
Another class came in, and I played with another guitar player. And we played Gloria, Wipeout, Pipeline, and Secret Agent Man.
Yeah, we did. We read online when we were doing our research about your playing Secret Agent Man, and I said, you know, I still
love that song.
I was going to say, I did the math. So here we are in 2017. So how about a few bars, man? How about a little 50-year revival? Secret Agent, man.
Yeah, I could, you want to let me go get my guitar? Because I don't even have a guitar here.
I'll do that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll wait for that.
Just a second. See if I can remember.
Mark Kendall wants to get his guitar. What am I going to say? World Wide Web. The name of the album coming up on Friday, June 2nd is Full Circle. It also will come on DVD with a bonus feature, The Making of Full Circle. So you want to catch that. Friday, June 2nd is when that's dropping. You also might, while we're waiting for Mark to come back with his guitar and give us a little revival here, you also might want to mark your calendars if you are in the upstate New York area. If you normally watch Ellie Ingraham here on the show, Friday, July 7th, playing at the Turning Stone Casino in Verona, New York. Mark and Great White will be performing up there. And if you're in the Florida area and you watch the show here and watch our guests here down here at the November 4th, 2017, the Wiener Bash Music Festival at Magic City Casino in Miami, the band will be performing as well.
That.
Oh,
okay.
wow. Fantastic. Okay. We're on the line with Mark Kendall, who went and got his guitar for us. And if y'all are out there, 50 years ago, Mark performed Secret Agent Man in his 4th grade class. And here we are, the 50th year revival. So,
might be hard to hear. Can you hear this okay?
Yeah, oh, we can hear it great.
Down the night.
Oh, yes. All right.
Secret.
I may never get my staff back. They're just dancing behind the cameras over here. Outstanding. World Wide Web, there you have it. Mark Kendall, Secret Agent Man, brought to you here on the Hangin' With Web Show. Thank you so much for that, Mark. You know, you have had a terrific career over 30 years in rock and roll. Now, in the 30-year career, you've obviously evolved as a person and as a musician. How has that affected your music? How has that influenced your music?
Well, I did kind of years ago, you know, kind of battle. I was kind of the beeraholic, if you will. You know, I got just as much pain as anybody.
Amen.
But so really, my life got so much easier when I quit doing that. It just seemed like everything really fell into place. Obviously, when you're younger, it doesn't show up as much.
Yeah.
As far as pain and waking up not feeling well and stuff like that. But, you know, these days I'm taking care of myself and trying to help others, you know, that may be struggling and stuff like that.
Well, that takes us into, we know you're a big supporter of MusiCares.
Yes, I am.
Which is helping,
yes, I am.
helping musicians and performers in their times of need, and particularly close to your heart is addiction and helping them with their addictions.
Love it. Yeah.
So, want to tell us a little bit? How did you get involved with MusiCares?
Just kind of hearing about them and reaching out and offering, you know, any help they need from me if they need me to go speak anywhere or whatever. That's kind of how that started. And, you know, I totally support them. They've helped me out with some of these guys that, you know, when I reached out on Facebook, just offering my sober friendship to anybody struggling, you know, the first guy shows up, and he was a musician, really battling alcohol, like literally rolling out of bed straight into a big gulp of vodka, you know what I mean? I mean, just to start his day, like he was real deep. And he like didn't know how to stop, and he was in real bad trouble. Well, MusiCares stepped in and helped me and got him into a rehab center. And he has like over 4 years sobriety, and he works at the rehab center as a counselor now.
Oh, now that's an amazing story and an inspiration. That's what we're all about here on the show, inspiring young artists to do what they love to do and to do it well. And that means getting the help you need sometimes. So now you have shared a stage with, in addition to being with Great White, you have shared the stage with fantastic, just top performers, Vince Neil, Poison, Rat, so many more. As a musician, your musical bucket list, is there anybody that you'd like to share a stage with left?
One of the ones that, not so much share a stage, but to meet one of my heroes that I've never got to meet, but I just met him the other night, is Robin Trower. Wow. I always wanted to meet the guy because when I was 15, I learned this album inside of a van off an 8-track, 8-track player.
I remember.
No rewind or anything, so you just got to listen to it again, and that's the way I learned.
World Wide Web. If you don't know what an 8-track is, look it up, guys.
Yeah, we're going way back. There was no way to rewind it, so you literally had to sit there and wait for it to play. And that memory just stuck with me forever, and I loved that album, Bridge of Sighs. I just thought it was awesome.
Wow.
But I never got to meet the guy or had the opportunity to see him play. Every time he'd play LA, I was on tour, was doing something else, so I never got. And then he played 15 miles from my house a few nights ago, and luckily I got hooked up with this tour manager that I know. The reason I know so many people was because we've been on the road so long that a lot of these guys have worked for bands that are around me or even us.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. What's your secret, man? We've been doing the show for a little over a year, going around and finding artists and creators where they are at conferences and conventions and concerts and everywhere else. And I'm near exhausted after a year. After 30 years, how do you stay fit and right on the road that much?
Well, I mean, it's not so much the playing itself that wears you out, but the traveling is kind of a pain. The worst thing about it is not sleeping properly. That's when it can get tough if you're, say you play a show, but then you have a 4 a.m. lobby call. Well, after you play, a show, say you get back to the hotel at 11, midnight, whatever, it's hard just to go to sleep because you're supposed to, you know what I mean? You're unwinding from the gig, So that can catch up with you, and especially if you're adding on that, you need to drink every day and party down with the girls and, whatever. When you're living that lifestyle, then it can be really difficult. But like I said earlier, it's a little easier when you're younger. But catch up on my sleep or whatever. Somehow I do anything I can just so the time in the show I'm feeling good. You become an expert at power naps, for one thing. You learn how to sleep sitting in planes very well,
Wow.
So I can sit up and sleep. We all have our little tricks,
Now, you guys have traveled all over the world performing. Is there any major distinctions between performing overseas and performing here in the U.S.? Have you noticed any particular differences?
The only difference, the audience they're the same. They go crazy, they love you. Apart from Japan, they go crazy and they love you, but they're dead silent after they clap and then they go completely dead silent because they think it's polite.
Is there a difference in the energy you get from something like that?
Yeah, because I don't know if you've ever seen even sporting events, like a boxing event from Japan.
Wow.
You can hear the gloves hitting. They're so quiet.
Oh,
you get me?
Yeah.
They're just paying attention. And what I heard is the reason is that they're just paying attention. But as far as singing a rock band, they're trying to they're trying to listen to what you say in between the songs. They're real attentive to where we're more like, shut up and play a song, you know, beer slinging everywhere, you know, we don't care, you know. It's a little bit more polite in Japan. That's the only way I could describe that. But as far as Europe in general, it's the same thing, you know, same crowds, a little different environment, you know, as far as the buses are double-decker. You know, people have accents. Some don't speak the language. You know, so environmental-wise, it's a different look. But you know.
Wow. Well, we've talked about your albums and your music and your journey through the last 3 decades of music. We've come to the section of the show that the girls and I have lovingly come to call clickbait. And what this is, if you know anything, the internet, those are those headlines that they never quite take you where you want to go, but you can't help but click because it's just one of those sensational big headlines. Well, we've warped that into our own thing. And what I did is I told the girls to go out to the internet, and I said, find me the most ridiculous questions you can find, and then Mark's real-life answers will give me the $1 million headline. Okay. I never use it. I use your name as a headline, but still, it's still kind of fun to do. So, okay, first question, a great one for a musician. If you lost your guitar pick, name 3 things that you could use as a substitute to get the job done.
You could use possibly like a nickel.
A nickel, okay.
A nickel. A matchbook cover, like you kind of fold it up.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to do that when I was a kid.
I was going to say, when I was a kid, I think I used to do that with, like a playing card or cardboard.
I don't know if you've seen the little clip-on bread holders.
True story, our 18-year-old just left the house. I just graduated high school, left the house, and he plays. And when he would lose his pick, that's what he would use, is the plastic bread ties. So,
yeah.
Outstanding. So, what is the most interesting or unique fan gift that you've ever received over the years?
Fan gift? A doll of me.
You got a doll of you?
It's actual, like...
That's really cool.
It's in Japan, you know, they give you gifts a lot, and it was like a doll image with my hat. I used to have this like sombrero kind of hat.
So is that like officially the Kendall?
The Kendall, yeah. It was a Kendall. It was a Kendall. Just all rocked out, you know. It had a leather jacket.
Oh, wow, awesome.
The hat and everything. And banners of the whole band, stuff like that, you know.
Awesome. So now, you know, all through the show, we've talked about 8-track tapes and everything. We've really given away. We've given away a little bit about our ages here, but let me ask you, just again, we're in the fun part of the show. How much has aging saved you in hairspray since the 80s?
Hairspray. Yeah. Well, we used to use hairspray. I didn't really use it, but the band, I don't know. I know we had it on the rider.
Yeah, I was going to say
some bands I've heard had like 2 cases of Aquanet on the rider, like every day. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So everybody was using the same hairspray. Everybody, you know, and that I think, you know, some journalists have lumped us in with the hair metal, but they're talking about the music, which I don't really understand that because I don't.
I think the music is a little different, and I think that we get lumped in because of the general aesthetic of the mid-'80s rock.
Of the image.
Of the image, yeah. That general aesthetic there, that you kind of get jumped in there. But, okay, I don't know where this came from, but I'm going to read it because I can't help but not laugh. A chimpanzee in a top hat walks into a casino lounge with a microphone. What does he sing? I don't know where these come from, man. They just
a monkey with a top hat
comes in with a microphone. What does he sing?
What does he sing? Shoot, man.
Somebody back there is so fired. Oh, you stumped the musician.
I'm trying to think. It's like a monkey song.
A monkey. He's got a
good monkey.
If you guys,
hey with the monkeys. How's
hey,
that?
hey with the monkeys. There you go.
Yeah.
If you guys are on the World Wide Web and you know a monkey song, throw it down below in the comments. Let us know. So, when you were a kid growing up, what was your favorite Saturday morning cartoon?
Favorite Saturday morning cartoon. I used to watch him. God, what was my favorite? Wally Gator.
Wally Gator. Yes.
Yeah, Wally Gator.
Yes. Well, this is a good one.
And also, Felix the Cat was awesome.
Oh, Felix was fantastic.
I loved Rock
yes.
Bottom.
Absolutely.
Rock Bottom.
This is a good question for a musician. What is the last earworm song that got stuck in your head?
The last song got stuck in my head. God, that's a good one. Because, I really do. I have to watch it because that happens to me. I can't think of one.
What's your jam when you're driving or when you're going somewhere? What's on in the car?
I don't listen to a lot of music, but my wife does, and it's usually like country. And she knows like every word from every song that's ever written or something. So there's a lot of country action. The last thing I remember listening to is Johnny Cash's last effort. It was his very last.
Wow.
He had that one song, "Hang Your Head," and I was like listening to that over and over. The lyrics
wow.
The lyrics are insane in that song.
Now we went over your schedule a little bit with our audience while you were grabbing your guitar. But what's coming up down the pipe for you guys? Where are you going to be next?
Our first show out of the gate here coming up is in California. It's at a casino. We're doing 2 shows, and it's called San Manuel. And it's in Highland, California, which is near San Bernardino.
Awesome.
And that's going to be our first show. We're going to do a couple new ones and stuff, so we're excited.
Awesome. And then for those of you watching the show up north again, who normally watch Ellie Ingraham here host the show, they're going to be at Turning Stone Casino Friday, July 7th in Verona, New York. And for those of you down here in Florida, where we are in the Sunshine State, look for them in the fall. That is Wiener Bash Music Festival in November 2017 at the Magic City Casino in Miami with Vince Neil. And now I understand you got some other projects happening too. You have a documentary coming out.
Right. And also with our album, if you order it, if you don't order it from a download site, if you order it from any of the download sites, which is available on all of them, you just get the digital music. But if you order it from officialgreatwhite.com, it comes with a making of documentary. We hired Rockslide Entertainment, which is a company that's a film company. They had cameras rolling in the studio during the whole recording process.
Wow.
So it's it comes, in the package with the CD, so the fans will be able to kind of see in the studio how we make records and argue and whatever.
That's amazing. So remember, guys, get that from the official greatwhiteofficial.com.
Yeah.
That's the album coming out, Full Circle. It's
correct.
Friday.
As far as the documentary with Metal Meltdown, that's supposed to be out this year as well.
Yeah, and you guys have a reality TV series that you guys were part of.
That's
too.
just that's a full live performance from Las Vegas that we did with Twisted Sister, Skid Row, and Extreme.
Wow.
And so it's a live show.
I wish you could see the faces behind the camera right now, because when I told Dina here that we were doing your interview tonight, I think she almost fainted. And then you just listed, between you guys and all the bands you just listed, everybody behind, they're just dancing right now. They're just giddy dancing.
Well, anyways, that release is coming with a full documentary that goes all the way back to before we were anything. So
wow,
it's a 2-hour it's a 3-disc set. So that'll be out. It's coming out on a company called Loud and Proud.
Okay.
Records.
Okay.
So
we'll put links to those things down below in the description. We're going to put links to all that stuff that we could find on the web, so that our audience can get down there and click on those links and go on over and check out the documentary. Check out Full Circle, released Friday, June 2nd. I got my shut up card backstage here, so I'm going to have to do just that. As we get ready to go, I want to say a special thank you to our partners and friends at Something Unique Magazine up in St. Louis, to the Florida Book News, the Wordfire Press folks, Space Coast Comics, Famous Faces and Funnies. These are the folks that help share our videos and our creators all over the World Wide Web and help spread the word about great things coming down the pipe. I'm GW Pomacher. We've been hanging with Great White's lead guitarist Mark Kendall. Remember, folks, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.